Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to go through how you do Rally course design with my PowerPoint presentation. Some of you have requested that, so I've got a video for you here. First thing you're going to want to do is you're going to want to decide what your path is. And so when you're deciding what your path is, that's kind of the most important thing to figure out in the beginning, because if you keep changing your path, you're going to have to keep changing your signs. So once you've got your path figured out and you know what directions you're going to go, you might give some consideration to using different kinds of dotted lines. I like to use dotted lines in ways that tell the handler that they're traveling in a particular direction. Now, if we're going to start putting in signs, what we're going to do is we're going to go down to the very bottom, and down here is where our signs are. So we're going to need a start sign and a finish sign. We know that for sure. And so how we do that is we just click on them, and then we right click and we copy. And then we can take it back to our map, and then we can just drop it in. And we can put it wherever we want to put it. Now, if you wanted to change the size of the signs, you can. I don't really recommend that you do it because it starts to really mess things up. But let's say you were doing half sheets instead of full sheets, then maybe you want to change the size of the signs. And you can do that a couple of different ways. One of the ways you can do it is you can hold down on the Shift key, and then you can just make it bigger or smaller like that. And remember, if you don't like what you've got, just come up here and hit undo, and it'll go back to the original size and shape. Also, you can right click on it, come down here to where it says size and position. See right here where it says size and position? Okay, so you click that, and when you click it, you come over here and you can put in the exact size that you want. You can also increase it or decrease it by a certain percentage. So once you've figured out your path, and once you've got all the signs over here that you want, then what you can do is you can start thinking about putting in other things, like for example putting in the station numbers. So the station numbers are over here. All you have to do is drag and drop them, and if you don't like where they are, you can just undo and do it all over. I like to put the station signs on the vertical. That way they're really distinct from the sign that identifies the number that identifies the sign. And you've got some things down at the bottom. So if we come over here and we scroll all the way down to the very bottom, you'll see that we have some things like cones and those kinds of things that we can put in, and the paper clip, etc. And so you can always use those as to kind of neaten up or fancy up your course. So once you've got all the signs where you want them to be, then it's time to figure out whether or not the course is legal. So what we're going to do here is we're going to transfer all of these signs to a place where we can determine whether or not they're the way they're supposed to be. So what we're going to do is we're going to hold down on the Shift key, and then we're going to select, we're going to ungroup, all right, and then we're going to hold down on the Shift key, and we're going to select all of the signs that have a station number. We don't need to do call because call doesn't get a station number. So we're going to pick out each and every one of them, and we just hold down on the Shift key and select the ones we want. Now, a quick way to make sure you got them all is come up to where it says cut, and we can cut them and see whether or not we left any out, and then just hit paste and they come back. You could also hit undo and they would come back. Alright, now that we've got all of them selected, we're going to copy, and then we're going to come down to these sheets right here. So since there's nothing here in advanced, let me go down and do the legal check with advanced. So I'm going to select each one of the signs that has a station number. And once I've got all of them selected, we can check cut. left one out, so undo, and I don't hit any other buttons. Hold down on the Shift key again and select that normal, and then I'm going to copy, and then I'm going to go down to my check page. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to hit paste, and now all those signs are there. I'm also going to right click on one of the signs and group them together, just because they move out of the way a whole lot faster as a group. Alright. Now the next thing I could do is I could come over here and I could gather them up a little bit better. So I'm going to ungroup them like that. And then I'm going to drag the far away ones and get them over here where I can, doesn't matter what order they're in or anything like that. And it jumps like that because I'm using less of the template. Alright, now I'm going to take the ones that I know for sure are not stationaries. I'll bring them over here. I like to put them right side up, and it just makes it a whole lot easier to keep track of them. And it takes a couple of seconds. Alright, I know for a fact this one is a stationary because it has the stop sign on it. I know for a fact that one is a stationary because it has a stop sign on it. I know for a fact that's a stationary because it has a stop sign on it. So I'm just going to fiddle around here till I get them the way I want them. Remember, anything you do, if you click undo right away, it just goes back the way it was. Alright, so then I'm going to check and see if there are any stationary signs that aren't obvious stationary signs, and I don't see any. So I have all my stationaries that are required, and I have 2 extra stationaries. Okay, now jumps. I have to have one jump. How do I know I have to have one jump? Because it says right here, and there's only one jump right here. So I'm going to bring that jump down there. Alright. And now we've taken care of our jumps. I'm required to have 3 advanced signs. So I just drag these down like that. There's 1, there's 2, and there's 3. And so now I have all my advanced signs. I have all my stationary signs that are required. I don't have too many stationary signs. So my advanced course is in fact legal. If you come up here and take a look at masters, masters is the same way. Okay, we have 1 jump. All of our master signs are accounted for. Excellence the same way. I have 2 jumps. So that's how I test to see if the course is legal. Alright, so once I've done that, then probably the next thing I'm going to want to do is I'm going to want to create my pull list. And that's pretty simple. I'm going to come down here. I'm going to copy this. And then I'm going to go down here. I'll just do it on a blank page. And I'm going to paste. And I'm going to bring that right up here at the top. Now, I'm going to use this over here differently than it is the special, special signs, or signs like call and so forth. So I'm going to merge these. I'm going to delete those numbers. I'm going to merge that. Okay. All right. So this is going to be my master's course. Okay. All right. Now I'm going to go down to excellent. Oops. I'm going to go up to excellent. All right. Now I'm going to copy this. Same way I did before. come down here to my pull list. Oops, my pull list. Paste. Now I can just eliminate this top row here. Now I can use the arrow keys and if you hold down on the control and use the arrow keys, it's like fine-tuning. Alright, again I'm going to delete those numbers and then I'm going to merge those like that, and I'm going to put right in excellent. Just like that. So I really only have to create these one time. And I'll do the same thing for advanced. I'm going to select the table, copy, go down to my pull list. I'm going to take out this first row. And then we're going to move this up here. Oops, I didn't select it. Okay, use my fine-tune control and the arrow key so I can line them up perfectly. Okay, and I would again delete those numbers and merge the 3 cells and write in advanced. And I would do the same thing for intermediate and for novice. And I might do something like put in a title. So if I handed it off to a steward, insert text box. If I hand it off to a steward, then it would be clear to her what this was. I also always number my courses. You can use whatever numbering system you want to use. I use it associated with usually the month and the year, and that way I have an idea of when it was created and so forth. I'll center that, and I'll center this. Okay, and now I've got my pull list. And I can make these bigger or whatever I want to do. So I'll make that a little bigger. Okay, bold it. Make that a little bigger. Make that a little bigger. There we go. Alright, and that's the pull list. And now we have all of our courses, and we have all of our maps, and we have checked to see if all of them are legal, and we know that they are all legal. And so we're all done. Simple as that. If you have any questions, just send me an email.